You want to know why I play this game made by a weeb or weebs? Because apparently it's a horror game, and it has surprises, and I'm all up for surprises. But all I've been doing so far in this fucking game is just pressing the goddamn enter key. So much in fact, it came off. My enter key came off.
Stinky!
How bad this game can be where all you do is fucking nothing but read the fucking dialogues for the past 15 minutes and damage your keyboard in the process. Actually, on topic of this game's horrorness, I've heard of another game that was apparently found on a random PC that was kinda similar to this game. Except it was about dating, I don't know, an angel or something. And people have said it's a very creepy game, but nobody has told anyone why it's creepy. You know what? I'll fucking look it up again. Now I think it had this title on its page. Yep, it is. So, here it is, the strangest games of them all, apparently cancelled in 2002. The description says, a strange dating game that I found recently on a purchased PC. I couldn't find anything on the internet about it, so I uploaded it here. In the game you date an angel, and you need to increase your love bar with her and give her gifts, and find some way to unlock the door at the end of the hallway. Scrolling down, we find the download link for a zip file called Pigmalion Angel. So this game actually does have a name, huh? Whatever, I'm gonna download this file. Since it is a very creepy game, and it's cancelled in 2002, I probably should run this in Windows XP computer, to protect myself and my own PC. Who knows, maybe that angel is actually a devil underneath, that will destroy everything on my hard drive. I'll go ahead and transfer it to my Windows XP machine. I already got the file here on the desktop now. Let's unpack it. Finally, it's done. Now the first thing I noticed is this txt file that says read me please. Opening it reveals this text. Here below are two codes you can write in the box in the living room. I think there is more, but I haven't discovered it yet. Apparently the game is not complete. It has some bugs, but nothing that has bothered me yet. These codes are gifts to increase your girlfriend's love bar. Below there are two codes, dress and book. Huh, codes? Box in the living room? I haven't even started this game and it already gets interesting. As I suspected, the file says that the game is not complete and we may experience some bugs. Which, just as the file says, shouldn't bother me as well. After all, this was a game that was cancelled before it could even get a stable release. Anyways, let's stop holding the horse by its balls and let's play the cancelled game of 2002. We boot up the game and we are met with the main menu, on which is the game's title and the author of the game, Davidson Krieger. Trying to look up the name online and we're met with nothing related to the game or the game's creator. After clicking on start on the main menu, we begin in the hallway, the same hallway mentioned in the txt file. And sure enough, at the end of it, like it was mentioned in the txt file, there is indeed a door at the end of it, alongside another door on the right that does absolutely nothing. Bummer. Going back from that door on the left is another one, leading to the living room, which has a window and a box. Clicking on the window allows us to see, well, the outside of it. Anyway, clicking on the box asks us to take out something from the box by typing in the item. I tried to pull out the most manly thing possible from the box, a Mazda 6 GG scale model, but all I was met with is a fucking middle finger from the game. I'm super depressed now. Anyways, going back to the beginning of the game, there is a door to the right, clicking on which leads us to the bedroom, in which we also find her, whose name is Samantha, the angel that the description on the website talks about. Oh, and she's naked! Anyways, after collapsing my vocal cords for the millionth time, Samantha is with us in the bedroom. For some odd reasons, we aren't wearing any clothes. Seriously, don't all angels wear clothes? All the pictures online seem to prove it so. Why doesn't she have any? Clicking on her suspiciously bare look puts her close to us and gives us options to do anything with her. The first option is follow me, which is basically commanding her to either stay at the bedroom or the living room. It only affects one aspect, is that if she's in the living room, we cannot use the sleep function. I mean seriously, who the fuck sleeps on the carpet in the living room?
Me.
The talk function is basically talking to her, as well as going out on dates, and there's also a compliment button, which doesn't do anything. No matter how hard I click on it, it doesn't do anything. This game is basically teaching me to never respect women and compliment them, let alone a fucking angel! Gifts is the thing both the description and the TXT file mention. See those two empty boxes on the left of our screen? That's inventory. How do you get things into the inventory? You guessed it, it's in the fucking box. When you get an item in the inventory, you can go to this option and select the item you want to present to her as a gift. If it's an outfit, for instance the dress that's mentioned in the TXT file, she'll happily take it and put it on. Finally, she's not naked! Coming to the last function, by far the most important one in the game, is sleep. This option can be only activated if Samantha feels very tired, which you can monitor on the right of the screen, just below the log bar. Tiredness bar fills up after you finish going on dates, of which there's only two, the forest and the cafe. More on those later. When sleeping, the game will show random images before returning to the game. Those are dream images, and in total there are 8 of those dream images, most of which are pretty weird, like, we found it! Sleeping also increases the love bar by just a small amount. Let's talk to her and get some information about her, like social security numbers, credit card info, driver's license.
Well, what the fuck is it doing in my plot file? Who the fuck put this into my fucking TXT file for my fucking...
Sorry for saying that. What I meant to say is stuff such as what she likes, what is her dream, and... this? No, seriously, that's a fucking option? Don't worry though, clicking on it doesn't involve actually having the under the bed sheets. Thank the holy creature in front of us. It would only reveal the fact that it is impossible due to the fact that she is an entirely human. Talking with her a bit more and giving different answers to her reveals a bit more about her. Let's start with, where did she even came from? We know it's an angel, which from religion is known as a creature from heaven, but she reveals to us it's not the kind of heaven we might think of. Or character, yes we do play as a character who met her, not as ourselves, asks an obvious question. Why did you leave there? To which Samantha responds with an interesting quote. What I can say is that it is no longer a good place. So she is indeed from heaven, but not the one that we know, and after asking why she left it, she revealed it's not a good place anymore. So hold up. She escaped that place that used to be heaven until something happened there that made her leave. I think I might know the answer to that, and before I could make any of my conclusions, I decided to ask her about having children, to which she responds with another interesting quote. I would love to be a mother, but my nature doesn't allow it. Not with a human, not with my kind. So, not only she can't have children with a human due to the fact she's different, it's a fucking angel, but also she can't have a child with someone of her kind as well. Which makes me think, how are angels even born if they can't reproduce? Do they reborn unnaturally in heaven when someone dies on earth with a good soul? Or do they just appear out of nowhere Which also makes up another good question. Could it be by any chance a person who the protagonist knew before and died sometime later, only to revive as an angel and stay with the protagonist this time? There's so much to think about, but for now, let's focus on something else. Asking her more questions that are available to us reveals that she's not out of the grid type of a angel. Her liking is mostly music, but also other things, such as reading and art, mostly the ones found on the music covers. Speaking of reading, the TXT file mentions the second code that we could use in the box, the book. Getting the book and gifting it to her increases our love bar and a nice dialogue. That's fucking it. But then this also gave me a great idea. What else can you put out from the box? Remembering what it said in the TXT file, as well as everything that she said to us so far, I decided to experiment and try to pull up some of the items from the box. The first one is something related to the photo album. How do we create photo albums? Well, of course, we create it with a fucking camera! Like, how the fuck are you gonna make it with an eye? Or actually, a CAD. It's just painful. The second one was the poster from the music cover of Swords. I have no idea where it came from, but if you do know it, leave it in the comments. Giving her the poster, she puts it on the wall in the bedroom, having a new decoration stuck on it. Yeah, now this room is 10 out of 10. And then obviously, for her insane amount of love for music, I decided to gift her an MP3 player. Gifting her the MP3 player allows us to change the music in the game. There are in total of 3 songs that you can choose. Music 1 is sort of a lo-fi-ish kind of a song. It starts off pretty calm until it starts having beats and all that stuff. Music 2 is the kind of shit that you would usually hear in a modified Rover 75. Seriously, what the fuck is that? Music 3 is mostly a piano song throughout the entire song, although the beginning is a bit different. Now you know we have gifted her a dress, which finally made her not naked in front of us. But we also can gift her more dresses. First of all, let's go on the first date, in the forest. By going out to the forest date, she reveals to us that she likes wedding veils that the brides usually wear. So after a date, I decided to go into the box and typed in the veil, and I got it. Except it's not a wedding veil, it's in fact a non-whale. Yeah, the black one. Basically that fucking thing. Then I decided to get a little more interesting. You see, this game was cancelled in the 2000s. How about a 2000s outfit? So I typed in 2000s and it gave me a 2000s outfit. And with her new outfit, that definitely fits in this case, we go on the second date, which takes place in a cafe. At a cafe, we get occasional choices. Like for instance, her questioning us if we drink beer, or us asking her if she ever drank a beer, or offering her a can of coffee. First time ever fucking hearing that. She also mentions that she would love to have a chocolate drink, so I had a big idea.
What's the big idea?
After the cafe date, I went into the living room and I... Sweet heavens. Anyways, I went into the box and typed in chocolate drink, and voila, I got it. So I gifted it to her and got a happy response, which made me happy as well. Sorta. And I have run out of ideas. Yeah, the box is basically useless at this point as I have gifted her practically everything that she has ever mentioned. So the only thing that's left is just to fill up that love bar and see what's gonna happen. Once I have done that by going on the last cafe date, which is the only way to fill up the love bar by a large amount, I decided to pay a visit to that door at the end of the hallway. Now I know it's locked because that's what it said in the description, and I tried to click it at the start of the game, only to be met with a sound indicating a locked door. However, this time with a full love bar, this time something else has happened. Clicking on the screen glitches the entire game out, showing a garbled image of Samantha and crashes the game. Restarting the game reveals to us that Samantha is gone. Or should I really say, became a barely visible object in the bedroom. Clicking on what's supposed to be Samantha there shows absolutely nothing, except for the fact that some of the buttons are now unavailable. We're still able to go on dates, and trying to go to the forest date first, instead of hopefully seeing her there, shows us absolutely nothing. Even the dialogue is just nothing but just 3 dots. But on the cafe date, something wild happens. So what the fuck just happened? If you pay attention close enough, you might notice that the first dialogue starts off very broken, all with missing characters and font. Then we see a bunch of no's and garbage text. However, paying even closer attention to that garbage text reveals that it's not some garbage text, but in fact, it hides a message that reads, "Put his name in the box. Miss you." I went back to the box, trying out all possible names related to something unholy. I tried putting names such as Satan, Devil, Demon, and even
Donald Trump.
But nothing happened, until I decided to put this. And after pressing enter, there's no text I got anything. I decided to check the door and it's still locked, but when I went back to the bedroom, I saw a note on the floor, which after clicking on it, reads this. "Hello there, how are you? I hope so. I wanted to apologize for suddenly disappearing. I actually don't even know what to write. It's difficult for me too. I know you want an explanation, but it's complicated to talk about this. I tried to put it into words. Firstly, I told you about my nature, didn't I? I think I'm not good enough for you. Humans and angels shouldn't interact, but I did. I was curious about Earth and wanted to see everything in person instead of hearing of what people said about it. There are many bad things, many cruel people, something that left me hopeless for a moment. But I thought they would be right. But then you showed up, lonely, without many friends, doing things quietly. Sometimes you seemed sad. And a lot of times actually. I watched you for days and I felt closer and closer to you. I fell in love with you, so I appeared in that field when you decided to walk alone. Since then, a love story began. I loved every second with you, and I would love to continue, but I was selfish. An angel and a human can't be together, but I thought maybe it was okay. However, I put you at risk if I stay by your side. We can't be together any longer. I hope you won't be mad at me. You need a real person. There are people who can love you the same way I loved you and would do anything for you. You are wonderful and have such a beautiful soul. I know this person will appear to you as an angel appeared once. Take good care of her, okay? Anyway, this letter is already long. My love, you are the only person I loved on Earth. The only being I fell in love with in this universe. I will remember you until my death. I know it might be difficult, but forget me. This was all just a dream, a sense of what your future wife will be like. Thank you for everything you did for me. I will protect you even from a distance. Just don't forget these words. I love you. Wake up. As the note ends, the screen fades to black and we get an ending screen. A picture of a house on a hill in the middle of nowhere surrounded by fog. The game now only has one song playing throughout the entire game, which internally is called The End. Trying to go to the forest date again, and we're given two choices. One that reads Miss You, and another one is just 3 dots. Choosing Miss You doesn't do anything apart from giving some 3 dots on the fucking dialogue, but choosing the second one reveals something interesting. I wish you were here with us. We miss you. And you said that your biggest fear was dying before finishing your art. Going to the cafe date this time, we're met with another 2 choices. I need you, and I feel alone. The first one mentions Samantha and the protagonist's pain of having her not present with him. The second one, however, just says, "Are you still watching me?" Directed to whoever it might be directed to. At this point, there is nothing much we can do. This is basically the game's end. So let's try to figure out what's going on here. First of all, it reveals to us that Samantha and our protagonist met in the field. This might be related to one of the dream images as well, which at first glance may look like a cheap bootleg of Windows XP wallpaper, but it's actually a field that they might have met each other. Secondly, in the same note, Samantha says that by staying together with them would just put the protagonist at risk. What kind of risk it is? Now, remembering what she said about heaven when we were asking her where she came from, you might be referring to the fact that she didn't came from any kind of heaven. There is a high chance of it being a negative version of heaven. In other words, she's from a place that became hell. Fuck! Wrong picture.
There's the correct one.
So, this means one thing. She has done something so wrong, her kind might start looking after her to punish her, drugging our protagonist as well, as the secret cannot be let out in the wild. What punishment would it be for doing what she has done? Who knows? But considering how bad the place has gotten that made her leave, I assume the punishment would be absolutely of an unholy level, if not the same as in hell, which makes the place just as identical to hell. Then there's the other stuff, not entirely related to the protagonist or Samantha, but possibly the creator of this game. The first hint at this is the dialogue from the forest date when we choose a second option. It gets even more heated when you realize that the music file used during the glitched cafe scene is called the artistisdead.wav. Considering this game was cancelled sometime in 2002 and having a lot of bugs here and there, I'm assuming the artist in question is in fact the author of the game. It also helps the fact that the person's name cannot be found easily on Google if they have died in 2002. Otherwise, they would have had a social media account on which we could see the details of how it all started off and maybe even see the snippets of his game. But as you probably can already guess, if there's no social media and no mentions of this game online, apart from this one itch.io page, then the artist, aka the creator of the game, is dead. Well boys, and gals if they even exist on this fucking channel, time to break the barrier. This game, if you haven't figured it out, is not from 2002, nor was it even known to be cancelled from that year. In fact, it's made in an engine that didn't come out until 4 years later in 2004, and the creator's name was made up for the game. Another thing that this game doesn't run Windows XP, since the version of RenPy, the game's engine, is newer than version 7.3.5, the last version to support Windows XP. Yes, this means that games like Doki Doki Literature Club and other RenPy games that were made before October 2019 natively support Windows XP, even if they say that Windows 7 is the minimal one. I did try to run it on Windows Vista thinking that it might be the last version supported, but I was met with an error. And trying to run it on Windows 7 gave me absolutely nothing. I checked it in Task Manager Absolutely nothing. It didn't even try to open. There's also one more thing to point out in this game. That was probably unintentional. In one of the random topics of Samantha, she mentions that the current tallest building is Burj Khalifa. At first it doesn't sound weird, I mean after all it's a fact, but Burj Khalifa didn't exist until 2004 when the construction began, and finished in 2009. The tallest building back in 2002 was Petronas Tower in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Finally, the game's soundtrack. This is how I found out about the existence of this game alongside other people on YouTube. Possibly even you watching this video have seen it already. This soundtrack is an awesome mix of originality and some edits of the Silent Hill 2 songs. Especially in the Untitled song, where I used one of the soundtracks from Silent Hill 2. And before I will end this video, I wonder what would happen if I typed the creator's name at the very beginning of this game. Let's try. I cleared the save files and wiped out anything related to Ren'Py or this game in app data root folder and started up the game. When I wrote the name into the box, I wasted my time there. Well, time to end this video now, bye!